Welcome, seekers of truth. They stand in grand halls, drawing lines on maps, believing a simple pen stroke can carve out global peace. Confident diplomats slice through ancient borders, dividing cities like spoils, blind to the invisible fire burning beneath the soil. Yet, one tiny, barren city defies all human logic, resisting every treaty, outlasting empires, and breaking the strongest political wills. Why does this single coordinate on Earth hold the entire world hostage, turning brilliant statesmen into dizzy, stumbling fools? Because they are not dividing land. They are attempting to move the heavy stone of the Almighty, triggering an ancient, deadly trap. Look closely at the grand chambers of New York, where powerful nations gather under bright lights to decide the fate of nations. A modern electronic map glows on the central table, radiating sharp blue borders that dissect streets, neighborhoods, and holy sites. Politicians in expensive suits argue with absolute confidence, believing that human law can easily override ancient sovereign reality. They cast their votes one by one, watching the digital screen flash. With numbers that promise to reshape the destiny of the world, they foolishly think that a signed piece of paper can easily control a territorial dispute that has raged fiercely for millennia. But as their ink dries on the parchment, a deep spiritual blindness seals their fate, pulling them into a massive geopolitical snare. Jerusalem is the epicenter of more international resolutions and intense debates than any other tiny plot of land on this planet. Superpowers are deeply obsessed with this specific ancient fortress, pouring billions of dollars into shifting its historical boundaries. Why does a city without vast oil reserves or major deepwater ports completely dominate the dark matrix of global politics? The answer was recorded long ago, written in letters of fire, hidden safely within the ancient, dust-covered scrolls of prophecy. 2,500 years ago, amid the ruined stones of Judea, a lone prophet looked out into a terrifying future. Zechariah dipped his reed pen into dark ink, his hands shaking slightly as the voice of the Almighty commanded him to write. The sacred text of Zechariah 12, verse 2, opens with a chilling warning that directly echoes into our modern world room. Behold, I am going to make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the surrounding peoples who lay siege against Judah. Consider this specific biblical metaphor of the cup, a vessel filled to the brim with a wine that induces severe madness. Any nation that drinks from this geopolitical chalice loses all strategic reason, stumbling blindly into total political ruin. The prophecy immediately intensifies in verse 3. Introducing a second powerful image that shatters human arrogance. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people, wounding anyone who attempts to carry it away. Though all the nations of the earth are gathered together against it, they will be cut to pieces by its rough, unyielding edges. This burdensome stone represents an absolute divine decree, a solid monument that no human superpower can ever displace. For decades, brilliant global architects and charismatic Western leaders have stepped forward to lift this ancient weight. From the historic cabins of Camp David to the polished halls of Europe, they have crafted endless formulas for compromise. They proudly call it the two-state solution, a sophisticated plan to carve the holy city cleanly into two separate capitals. Yet history reveals a devastating pattern, a trail of broken careers, sudden political downfalls, and unexpected national tragedies. Every single administration that has aggressively forced Israel to divide its inheritance has faced a sudden, crushing blow. The patterns are undeniable and precise, recorded clearly in modern intelligence archives and historic news broadcasts alike. When foreign leaders sign documents demanding concessions, catastrophic storms and sudden economic crises frequently strike their homelands. The heavy stone of Zechariah does not yield to human negotiation. It simply drops with crushing weight upon those who touch it. If this ancient warning has broken the strongest modern empires, why do international bodies continue this dangerous pursuit? If you stood in the shoes of these modern leaders, would you dare to push a policy that defies such a precise ancient curse? To truly understand this profound geopolitical blind spot, we must look far beyond the secular definitions of statehood. Jerusalem is completely unique, a city designated by the Creator as the specific geographic anchor of His cosmic plan. The Holy Scriptures explicitly declare that the Sovereign Lord has chosen this exact location to place his eternal name. Therefore, the constant global push to divide Jerusalem is not a mere diplomatic campaign or a standard border dispute. It is a direct spiritual rebellion, a highly calculated attempt by dark forces to seize the ultimate throne of the earth. By splitting the city, they seek to dilute its sacred purpose, turning a house of prayer into a divided political theater. The Bible unmasks this grand international agenda as a dark mystery, revealing a deceptive plot of historic proportions. The highly praised peace treaty of the future will not be born out of genuine goodwill or a desire for mutual prosperity. It will be masterfully brokered by a brilliant, charismatic figure who emerges from the chaotic matrix of global crisis. Prophecy identifies this man as the Antichrist, a deceptive leader who feigns peace while preparing a massive slaughter. He will stand before the cameras of the world, presenting a flawless 7-year covenant that promises absolute security. The treaty will explicitly mandate the final division of Jerusalem, creating a temporary, fragile illusion of brotherhood. International delegates will applaud his genius, celebrating the sudden end of a conflict that has lasted for generations. The mainstream media will broadcast images of unity, declaring that humanity has finally entered a golden age of peace. But the ancient text of the first epistle to the Thessalonians provides a sudden, terrifying counter-narrative to this joy. Chapter 5, verse 3 explicitly warns us, "For when they shall say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh, like labor pains upon a pregnant woman. The catastrophic judgment of the heavens will fall swiftly, and they shall not escape." The deceptive peace treaty is the ultimate trigger mechanism, the final legal document that unlocks the wrath of God. As the politicians toast to their new world order, the stable foundations of human civilization will begin to violently crack. The apparent success of global diplomacy will instantly transform into the greatest catastrophic trap in human history. The text of Daniel 9 reveals that midway through this covenant, the deceptive leader will violently break his own word. He will march directly into the newly constructed temple, putting a sudden, forceful end to all traditional worship. He will set up the abomination of desolation, demanding that all mankind bow down and worship his dark image. The divided city of Jerusalem will instantly become a bloody battlefield, caught in the grip of unparalleled tyranny. The very nations that signed the peace pact will realize they have handed the keys of the world to a monster. Their grand diplomatic masterwork will collapse into ash, proving the timeless accuracy of the ancient prophetic matrix. Every line drawn by the United Nations will be erased by the terrifying fire of an unfolding spiritual war. The burden of the stone will prove too great for human institutions, shattering their proud structures into dust. Yet, the global elite continue down this exact path, blindly executing the very steps predicted long ago. They are completely locked within a script they cannot read, fulfilling a destiny they desperately try to avoid. The division of Jerusalem is the undeniable signpost, a clear signal that the countdown of history has reached zero. As the international community pushes harder for the final treaty, the spiritual tension reaches a breaking point. The matrix of prophecy is rapidly tightening around the globe, leaving no room for human escape or compromise. Every major news headline is merely a reflection of an ancient decree, a visible manifestation of an invisible law. We are currently watching the final alignment of the nations, the precise positioning of forces for the last conflict. The illusion of secular control is completely fading away, exposing the deep spiritual engine that drives all global events. Jerusalem remains the immovable center of gravity, pulling every superpower into its inescapable orbit of judgment. When the final line is drawn, will you be able to recognize the ancient blueprint unfolding before your very eyes? Jerusalem is the final, unyielding cosmic anchor, holding the fraying threads of human history together. While the diplomats of the West are deeply intoxicated by their own words, a far greater threat rises in silence. They are totally focused on their intricate round tables, completely blind to the massive shift occurring in the distant east. Beyond the dried riverbeds of Mesopotamia, an immense shadow is steadily growing, preparing to tear down all treaties. The Book of Revelation explicitly describes a massive army, an unstoppable force of 200 million fierce soldiers. In the ancient world, this incredible number was vastly larger than the total population of the entire human race. For centuries, skeptical critics laughed at this text, calling it a wild, impossible exaggeration of Scripture. But today, in our current century, there is one single nation that can easily field an army of that scale. The rapid, unprecedented rise of China fits the terrifying profile of the text with absolute, chilling precision. They are silently building massive highways through rugged mountains, clearing a direct path toward the heart of the Middle East. The grand peace plans of the United Nations are utterly meaningless to the kings who march from the rising sun. As the Western nations stumble in their dizziness, the Eastern Colossus prepares to cross the final boundary. The matrix is complete, the traps are fully set, and the ancient characters are moving swiftly into their final spots. How does the Bible describe the sudden, devastating entry of China into the Valley of Decision? The heavy stone remains. Is the UN's two-state solution a genuine pursuit of peace, or the ultimate defiance of divine authority? Will this broken treaty usher in the final global conflict? We urge you to share your profound insights in the comments below. Subscribe to uncover the dark matrix of history. Like, share, and stay vigilant as the ancient prophecies continue to unfold. Welcome, seeker.